or should I say good afternoon. I got questions and I have concerns. The children, you know, I'm all about the children. And I have cares and concerns for the mothers and the fathers, the grandparents, guardians, people who, supervise the children, godparents, older siblings that take care of their younger siblings. I think about all of that and how it's a challenge. Now, this is just a thought. Parents, we have our children. And we take responsibility because we created another life. But do we have the right, the authority to govern over your children, to have control over your children? That word control just does something to me. Because since when people control one another? If we have free will and free rights. When I see on social media kids cussing their parents and hitting on their parents, and some of us laugh and some of us say, holy smokes, that child wouldn't have any hands, he wouldn't have no teeth if it was my mom, if that was my child. But I want to dive deep. And I'm not trying to make something out of nothing. This is just something that I'm thinking about. Because people are people and people are people-ling. And just because they are children or young adults, adolescents, teenagers, whatever they may be, they still have feelings and they have thoughts, and they should be able to exercise their mind. They should be able to communicate to you what it is that is not making them feel good, or whatever it is that's making them happy. In my home, we couldn't talk back. They said what they said. You listened. They said what they said, and you did what they said. And if you did not, there was consequences, whether it was a spanking or it was some form of punishment. Because of my upbringing, always getting whoopings, beatings, mild punishment. You can't go outside. You can't talk on the phone. That type of stuff. I've always said when I would have kids, it would be different. So in my home, have I spanked my children? Yeah. I about could count on one hand how many I spanked. All 5. But I also use a form of punishment. No outside, no video game, no cell phone, no company. You can't leave your room. You got to do your homework. You got to read this book. You got to write your something. Okay? The things that they did have consequences. But I also allow my children to express themselves, express how you feel, because as a parent, everything that I do, everything that I say is not right. Most of the things that I am handing down to them is what was handed down to me, that was put upon me. And some of it worked and some of it did not. Some of it left a bitter taste in my mouth that I still am holding on today. And or think about sometimes. Like, man, instead of getting a whipping like that, they should have talked to me. You know, and never came back and said, I'm sorry, or this is why I did what I did. Because we are raised with, I don't owe no kid no explanation. Well, why not? How are they to grow? How are they to learn? I believe we do owe a kid an explanation to why we did what we did, or why we said what we said. Communication is key on all levels and all ages. When you have a child, a 1 or 2 or 3 years old, you swat their hand. No, 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 no. Don't touch that. You may tell them why. Hot, hot. No, no, no. Swat, swat. Don't. No, 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 no. Okay. So when does the explanation stop? Because growing does not stop. And I believe that's where the straight line go crooked. Why is this happening? Why I'm telling you this is incorrect? Why am I telling you this is correct? And allow the child or children the opportunity to explain why they did it that way. Because again, no matter where you are in life, if you are in the land of the living, there's always room to learn. Things are changing. My son and I yesterday had a verbal confrontation, and it was much needed. Am I angry? No. Am I in my feelings? No. Am I shocked? No. Am I surprised? No. If anything, I was waiting on this. I need to know your feelings, because I go to my kids and I ask them, how do you feel? What do you think? Why did you do that? This is what I did. This is the consequences for doing what you did. Yesterday, in this verbal confrontation, my son let me know how he felt about me. And now that I know how he feels about me, 1 or 2 things can happen. I can say, okay, I'll try to do better. I'll try to work on self. Or, nigga, you crazy. And back the hell up. And I'm going to tell you why. No matter which direction you go, but the direction that I went in was back the hell up. And I told him why. And the punishment that is to follow. See, when people tell you, know who you mating with, and I'm going to tell you something. And again, I may lose points for this. I'm not practical, I'm logical. Women who have aborted babies, I don't know why, but if it has anything to do with your health and your well-being, I support it. What I do know is that everyone is not fit to be a parent, and I know every child does not stay a child, and there are so many influences in this world, and no matter how good your parenting skills are and what you try to teach them and how much you try to love on them, there is a greater power that can come along and influence your child and what you try to create and what you try to build. You have a power that will test you, that will infiltrate. There comes a time when you have to let go and let God, and yes, I said God, whatever your God, your power is to you. You have to let that child go. Once when you raised your child, your children, you taught them right from wrong, you know that you provided, you did all that you can or could, and the sacrifices that you have made, and they still choose to be wayward and contrary to what you set in place, your rules, you let them go. Because life goes on. Your life goes on. You matter. Your health, your wellness, your well-being, your livelihood. And if you have other children and grandchildren, a significant other, and I'm not saying put your significant other in front of you in before your children, but life goes on, honey. Some people learn by seeing and hearing, and some have to learn from experiences. Some people are doers, and my son is a doer. He's not a thinker. And this is the same child that I talked in a previous video who was on the football team and turned his life around. And then I later found out that he's smoking marijuana and he's 17 and smelling his nuts. So, I got it. I understand. But I don't mean no harm when I say this, but I see so much in him that is in his dad, and his dad is locked up for murder. So I've been with his dad, and I know how his dad think. I know what his dad do. I know his reactions, his responses. I know this man, and I see so much of him in his son to where I can't have that around me. I can't have that around me because I know the outcome. and the outcome is not going to end well. He is influential, and so was his dad. Whatever you tell them to do, that's what they do for so long. And then when they go out on their own and don't want to listen, it don't end well for them. So this here, I am taking it a little step above, because like I say, I know my child, I know me, I know his dad, and I know this will not end well. So I will be filing a petition, and we can part ways. I'm 52 years old. Lord willing, I'll be 53. I'm not finna wrestle with no 17 and no other teen. Okay? Me not finna do that. I feel good. It took 5 years longer for me to feel good, to feel confident, to put myself around other people, and I made a executive decision to hate on me no more, not to let nothing or no one intercept, infiltrate, discombobulate, tear down, dismantle what I've built. So with that being said, love yourself, take care of yourself, be kind to yourself. And if there's any trash, take it out, clean your hands. Until next time.